I know this. I'm an animal. Oh God.
He's sweet in real life.
I'm in Canada, by the way. I'm in like Canada, living with a family, and I'm beating people up like this. Oh yeah, I killed that guy. Yeah, he died too. They died. Rest in peace. No, I'm just joking. So anyway, I know, there's just a lot. God, I used to have hair.
Look how young you look.
God, I used to have curly locks too. That's why Kate liked me back in the day, because I had those curly locks in the penalty box. And now I'm bald. And, well, I gotta make money.
Curly locks in the penalty box would be a good nickname.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That
locks,
could be
in,
a good
locks in the
podcast
box.
for somebody.
Locks in the box.
So anyway, all this is fighting and hockey. Oh God, this poor soul. That was in Nottingham, England, by the way. That was I know. Kate was treated like a princess there.
Well, you were the sheriff.
Yeah.
I was a sheriff, dude. I was bagging guys up. And I punched him in the back of the head. CTE everywhere. It is what it is. Oh, and I like to do that. I like to take my shirt off for the women folk. That's another reason why she likes me. But now I'm heavy. Anyway.
You went from welterweight to heavyweight.
Dude, I was cut up back then. I would always take my jersey off in the penalty box. Now I'm like, oh God, I'll wear my shirt in the pool now. Like a jackass.
Yeah, we have dad bods. We're not.
I'm like, that mirror. But
Dad bods are all the rage. Tyson Fury has a dad bod.
not-
He's the pinnacle.
women don't like dad bods.
Shrek was a
It is
great,
what it
like
is.
sold more tickets.
Who did?
Than Magic Mike. The Shrek film sold more tickets than Magic Mike.
Relatable.
You know what I'm saying?
Relatable.
It's all right.
You put weight on when you get older. And if you drink a lot of beer.
Yeah, those are two
Especially
things.
that beer that they have over there, by the way. Check that mug out. It's like 9.3%. It'll get you going.
Hammer of the Gods.
I like that name.
Yeah,
I like that name.
because you could drag your ass around after you drink it.
You feel like, you're a god or something.
Yeah.
Although you're wasted and you look like a jackass.
That's the invincibility that alcohol gives you.
You're the opposite of that, to be honest with you.
It is. So before we do our fundraising portion of the evening, I wanted to talk a little bit with this gentleman here about his career and just ask him some questions that maybe he didn't. Maybe we'll get him to cry. Tears
Talk
of
about
joy.
my kitty cat's about to die, and we will.
Oh, dude, what? Seriously?
I know.
Why would you start that?
Well, you brought up crying, and I'm like, if you
As
want
a
me to cry, we'll talk about little Boo Boo, who's 17 years old.
Fuck.
I know, God. Listen, I'm tough, but that little kitty cat, and I told you earlier, I told you this, homeboy, military, yeah, I know you're tough. But that little kitty cat I had for 17 years, anytime I was weirded out and like, God, whatever it was, that little kitty would lay on my lap and I would be happy. That's it. A little kitty cat. I'm tough, just so all y'all know. We rescued her. She was in a shoebox on the side of the road. We rescued her. 17 years old, living a good life. Probably shitting in the basement right now, on the floor.
She's too old to use her litter box. I had my dog
getting bad.
Buzz made it to 16. I haven't had a dog since. He did past 2 years ago. Since we're
Yeah.
fucking, I guess, talking about this kind of thing.
Whatever.
But he was blind, and he was basically the Helen Keller of dogs, like his last 3 years. Couldn't smell anything, and so
Yeah.
I had a situation where I was feeding him like a small king. You know, he was a miniature pinscher, but I called him a medium pinscher. He had a broad chest. He was a good looking animal, and so I gave him roast. He had Lion's Choice every Friday for the last.
Not good for him.
Last
Just so
year,
you
he's
know.
like no spices, just the beef.
Oh, at the end, yeah.
Yeah, it's his end of his life.
I know, that's what we do with the cat.
He once got out of the yard and somebody called the APC or the animal control people to come because they were like, this dog has clearly been neglected. I'm like, no, he just looks like Mr. Burns. Like,
Yeah.
he eats well. Like he's well taken care
No,
of.
but they're just,
has
that's
a
how,
hoodie.
that's how it is. We love animals. That's the point, the moral of the story.
We love animals.
We adopt animals. We love animals. If I had a shit ton of money.
Don't shop rescue.
If I had a shit ton of money, I'd buy 300 acres and I'd have fucking animals everywhere. I would. And just have, well, I wouldn't take care of them. I'd hire people to take care of them too.
Yeah,
Of course. So, but
It's like a twofold thing. We could bring in, well, whatever.
You know,
Anyway, yeah.
it's all good.
So I have a small scar. Last thing about the dog, I have a scar on this middle finger because I was feeding him salmon and I took the skin off the salmon. And then afterwards I had all the salmon oil on my hand. And so I was like, oh, here, Buzz, lick it off. Not remembering that he's blind, deaf, and dumb at this point. And he just ripped into my finger and I couldn't hurt him. So I just had to let him let go once he realized it was a human bone.
Good God.
So
yeah,
I
my
have
cat bites me too.
See that right
Kate
there?
bites me actually sometimes when I got salmon on me, don't you, girl? No, she doesn't.
Kitties and ladies love salmon. So when you were you're a hometown guy,
Yeah.
right?
Eureka, Missouri.
Eureka, Missouri.
Yep.
Is anybody else in here from Eureka? What high school did you all go
Any
to?
Eureka people?
One by
What's up,
one, by
girl?
one, what high school did you
Oh
go to?
yeah, what up? Yeah. Her whole family, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we went to school. Kate
that
and
Wildcats?
her sister are best friends. Yep.
Wildcats?
Yeah, the Wildcats.
Yeah, that's cool. There was
Purple and gold, baby.
That was one of 3 movies that Wesley Snipes and what's the guy from White Men Can't Jump
Woody Harrelson.
did together. They did Wildcats, where they were high school football guys. They did White Men Can't Jump, and then they did Money Train together.
Money Train was good.
It was a good movie.
Yep.
So when you were aspiring to be in it, did you always want to, like, did you have a plan from the get-go? Was it a manifestation thing, or what led you to the NHL? Is it by chance?
I'll tell you what happened. We grew up way out in the middle of the woods in Pacific, to be honest with you. Way out in the middle of the woods by Black Madonna Shrine. And my parents would take me to Cardinals games and Blues games. They took me to Cardinals games, and I'm like, oh, cool. There's an arch. Oh, pitching, yay, cool. And I'm like bored out of my mind. But then my daddy took me to a Blues game, and we sat up front in warm-ups, and Brett Hall with his mullet hanging out, would tap me and do this, and I'm like, oh my God. And then Tony Twist would piss pump somebody and do all the, I'm like, oh my God. Chaser would do his thing. You know, all these guys, man, they had monsters at the time in the early 90s. My dad and mom took me to Blues games, and I'm like, I am obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with it. So I'm like, give me rollerblades, because we don't have no ice here, right? They couldn't afford to go skate every damn day. So I go, give me rollerblades. We cleared out the basement, concrete, played hockey in the basement. That's how I got started. I'd rollerblade everywhere. I'd watch Twister and Holy and Chaser and all these guys play all the time, and I became obsessed with it. And I'm like, I want to be that. I want to be that somehow. And so we just got into it. But I played every sport, man. I played football, baseball, soccer, wrestling, cross country, track, all that stuff. And then I kind of molded that into hockey. And it just happened really, really fast. But my parents took me to goddamn Blues games, and I became obsessed. That's what you do.
No, I've never heard anyone successful tell me that they weren't obsessed with what they do. If it's not your passion, if it's not,
not like you could take a soccer game right now and
Yeah.
your kid might be like, I don't know. But you take, if he gets obsessed with it, you're like, damn, okay. And then I was big, like not big, tall, but I was athletic, and my dad's like, oh yeah, you're playing hockey.
Yeah.
And he would travel everywhere with me, everywhere, spend so much goddamn money, so much money. We're traveling every single weekend to Michigan, to Canada, to this. My mom at home, who's going back into school and getting her degree to get into nursing at Clayton Jail. And my mom's like, where are you guys going? And my dad's like, we're going to Michigan. And my mom's like, well, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Is Cam doing good? Is he doing good? My dad's like, he's killing everybody. Well, what does that mean, though? Are we just wasting money? Like, there's so much money involved. And of course, my mom kind of figured it out too, and she got on board, and it all worked out. But it's a lot of hard work. It was, but listen, you take your kids to games, they'll get obsessed with it if they like it.
Well, if they like it. Like, I think that's, so my oldest son played every sport, and then like 4th grade, he played football. And have you met Blair directly yet?
Not yet.
Just a little guy?
Yeah.
So Blair was obsessed with football, and he did it 24/7, and now he's a D1 guy, and people are like,
D1?
people are like, where did he get all of his athleticism?
Saving you money?
Oh, tenfold. He makes
No
money.
shit.
NIL pays you
I
now.
know.
He's probably,
Think about that.
He's
If you
getting
don't have
bigger
to play
contracts.
pro, your kids don't have to play pro.
No.
They can go, if you're a hockey kid, you can go to Lindenwood and get free everything and get treated like gold.
Yeah.
Get treated like gold.
He's on a
everywhere you
video
go.
game already.
It doesn't mean that you have to play pro. You could, and not to mention, in all these sports, whether it's baseball or whatever, you meet so many different people in business and stuff. If you ask all these entrepreneurs that are gigantic, where'd you meet your partner? In college. I met him here. I met him on the hockey team. I met him this. Like, that's how you connect. So there's so much more than making money and playing professional with kids with sports, that you just gotta like realize that too. They don't have to play in the NHL, but if the process that they go through, they're gonna meet so many people and they're going to be successful.
And the structure itself, right? Because that athleticism,
Discipline.
the structure and discipline.
I'm not late for, dude. I'm not late for anything.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when we do events here and there, like I like to show fashionably late. That's
Yeah.
it. But like,
That's because now you're the talent. So now
yeah,
you're supposed
let
to
me just
be
like a princess.
to come in a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
in reality, I'm never. Kate, am I psycho when I get up in the morning if I have to do radio? I'm a psycho. I'll get up so early and have my coffee and hang out with little Boo Boo, my kitty, and do my thing and get my mind right and whatever.
Man, I feel
have to
bad
leave
for
early.
Boo Boo.
But then you get obsessed with that. It'll drive you crazy, but you get up early, you're disciplined.
Yeah, I'm a maniac when it comes to timing. But I think it's pretty cool that, so like your obsession was what led you there. You got to the NHL. You started up in Canada. You moved away from home. What was that separation like?
Imagine you're like 16, 17-year-old kid leaving your house, moving to Canada, living with a 75-year-old couple. They're watching me sleep at night. I became really popular fast in this little town, and they're literally watching me sleep. And I'm like calling my dad, and like, dude, they're kind of fucked up a little bit. Like, and they're like, what are they doing? I'm like, it's all good. Like, I'm living with a different family at a young age in a different country.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I'm fighting the most hardcore looking sons of bitches you'll ever see in your life. They're look at these guys, man. You'll see it on YouTube. They're 6'7", no teeth. Their beards, they're like they
Small
look like
Sasquatches.
Vikings.
Yeah.
And I'm literally fighting them for 2 minutes. And my mom and dad are hearing it like, because they couldn't watch it and stuff like that. So I'm living with a different family. I'm in Canada. I'm fighting guys. Could get knocked out any night, get freaking killed any night basically with these guys. And they just had to deal with it. And I figured it out, man. So it was very, very, very stressful.
Does your obsession continue at this point? Like, were you still like, I've
Once
got
you
my
get
goal.
attention
Like,
from
I'm
fans, though.
Yeah.
Once I never, like you're in high school, like I'm trying to hang out with Kate. She wasn't talking to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Even with your hair back then?
no, I was a hillbilly joke. No one knew what the fuck hockey was
Yeah.
in Eureka. I'm like, I'm a hockey player. They're like, what? So then I went up there.
Might as well be
and
a flautist.
I go to school up there, and everybody knows everything you do. They see you everywhere. They see you at the gas station. You're like, wow, like I'm popular. What is? Then you go out there and you see that guy that's 6'9". I'm like, I'll go you, because I have all these people watching me. That gets
pumps you
man.
up.
God, yeah.
Especially at that age.
Oh, God.
There's no humility for a
Piss and
man at
vinegar,
that
man.
age.
I wanted attention, big time.
How long did you
Now
have to
I'm
tough
a
it out?
recluse, just so you know.
How long did you have to tough it out up there before you made it? What was that?
One
what was
year?
that portion?
Well, I went 3 years up there. I got drafted my first year. I was in Canada, doing great. And then my agent, I had an agent when I was 13 years old, to be honest with you. He took care of my family, didn't have that much money. They knew they weren't, well, so a family advisor came on, took care of my skates, stuff like that, all the equipment, travel with all these teams that wanted me to do all this stuff. It was really weird. Like, no one's ever seen this in St. Louis at the time. And I'm like going to all these other places. And so I play 1 year in Canada, get all this attention. I'm the heavyweight champ. I have the most penalty minutes. I'm getting all these different just attention.
Yeah.
Then they're like, my agent's like, you're getting drafted. I'm like, oh, no shit. So like my parents went up to Toronto.
Finally pays off.
And I had to do all this stuff with all these different teams and ride the bike and do all this stuff. And my mom and dad are in the draft. We're in Toronto. And they're calling off different names. And I'm like, I think the Devils like me more than anybody. I think the Devils like me. I know Lou Lamoriello. Like, I'm telling you, Dad. He's like, okay. And my agent's like, yes, they want you. So like, I had a teammate in Windsor right next to me who was a big, good, strong guy that I was going to get drafted too. And so Lou Lamoriello went up to the mic, who was our GM with the Devils, and he goes, okay, from the Windsor Spitfires, and me and my dad look at each other like, fucking A, right, baby, let's go. Aaron Niddle. Like, And so I'm like, yeah, Nitzy, good job. So then a round later, they called us, and me and my mom and dad like took pictures with everybody. We're high-fiving, you know.
And you're how old at this age?
18.
18
Just turned 18.
years old.
And so I drafted
wild.
in Toronto by the Devils, and then we went home. My mom and dad stayed in Detroit. My agent flew me home, and I'm at my parents' house by myself, and I have a party with all the Eureka people. Oh yeah, I got Devils shit
Rachel was there.
My mom and dad are gone. They're still stuck in Detroit. And Kate shows up. And And I go, what's up, girl? What's up? I go, I'm gonna buy a Hummer.
She wasn't having it, was she?
She's like, look, her and her hot friends. And I'm sitting there, and I'm literally sitting at our little hillbilly table. One of them, like the thing, it was like shaking. They couldn't even go to, one of the bathrooms was clogged up. I don't know. It's all good. But I'm bragging to Kate about I'm gonna make a ton of money and I'm gonna be famous. And she's just looking at me, rolling her eyes.
They don't impress me
But
much.
it worked out.
Yeah.
I said I wanted a Hummer, but I got an Expedition instead. But it's all good. But anyway, we partied that night. Cops came. My mom and dad, my brother said that my brother just got drafted. They didn't give a shit. It was a fun time, and then that's how it kind of went on.
When did you come to St. Louis? What was that reception like?
Well, I was with the Devils for a couple years, doing great.
Yeah.
Then I ripped my shoulder out, and I'm 21 years old. I ripped my shoulder out. I got this house in Jersey. I'm eating painkillers like no other, like crushing painkillers. No one's checking on me. I got money. I got my buddies around. We're partying. I'm in a sling like this, like I was just depressed.
Yeah.
But like everything was okay, but like you're hurt. No one talks about you when you're hurt, man. You're just like shoved to the side. It's
Especially
horrible.
then, as a guy, you're not like
Horrible.
It's like man up.
It's bad. I'm like, what am I doing? Am I gonna ever play again? Whatever. And then all of a sudden I get called up to Lou Lamoriello, who was our GM's office. He's like, hey, I traded you. I go, where? He goes, to St. Louis for Bryce Salvador. I'm like, God, yes. I started like screaming. He's like, you shouldn't be that excited about it. But I called my parents, and you come to St. Louis, and now everybody knows you. Like no one even knew I was in Jersey, except for like your tight group of people.
Right.
The football coaches knew because you see on Sports Center hitting a guy or something like that. But like no one knew. But once you play for St. Louis, everybody knows you, and that's what helps propel like after hockey career kind of thing.
Right.
I got lucky, man. Really.
Well, I would say that sometimes with obsessions and manifestations and these things, as I'm exploring my stuff, I no longer really believe in luck as much as I believe in like you get out of the universe what you put into it. And so maybe when you moved to St. Louis, there was a different vibe about you. There's maybe
Yeah, I was crazier.
Yeah.
No, I was disciplined in Jersey.
You probably had some more humility though, right?
But I worked my ass off for everything. Like I would.
You don't make it to that level by not doing that.
My dad dropped me off at 16 years old. He goes, you need to go to Finney's Mixed Martial Arts at 16. I go, take me there. My dad dropped me off at 16. He goes, get in there. I already paid for it. You got 3 months. And I walk in, I'm like, huh? There's shit kickers everywhere, fucking throwing bombs on guys. I'm like, oh God. I said hey to everybody, met everybody, and they're like, come in here, let's go. So I started training with all these like 25-year-old guys that are killers.
Yeah.
And they were so sweet. They were the nicest guys in the world. And they taught me all kinds of different things. And I figured out how to do hockey fight training there. 16 years old, my dad just goes, get in there. I paid for it. He probably took a loan out at the time because they were broke as fuck. When your mom and dad fight about money, it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Especially when you're the one that's causing it.
You're the cause.
You better figure something out. Mm-hmm. And so like little things like that, but I was
Was that a
out.
subconscious piece of your obsession?
God, yeah. I hated when they fought about money. It was horrible.
So you take that out on the ice and then you can find a way to make money.
I'm like, no, I got you. Like, I'll get you. Like, I got it. Like, and they both knew that I was driven. So my dad dropped me off there. So I kind of figured out my like toughness. Like I knew how to throw a punch, both hands and all that stuff. So when I did move to Canada, like it all worked out. Then you get drafted and then they signed me. So the Devils knew my parents didn't have money. So like, Cam, we're going to give you $200,000 right off the bat. Boom. We're going to sign you. And that's nothing compared to, but back in the day, like for me, like I
might as well have been $1 million.
Wealthy.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, oh my, so my first check when I was 18, everybody else is just live with their parents. Like no one had any money. And I got a check for $50,000 and I'm like, oh my God, spending money like no other. Taking care of everybody, bars, whatever we doing. Like I did buy a house right next to my parents, which is great. Like that's the one thing I did, that was great. I know, this little cute little house. My neighbors moved out and I'm like, I want to buy that house right next to my parents, right next door. And then Kate made it really pretty after a while. But But yeah, I bought that little house, and it was awesome. I had money to work out and train and all that stuff, and I took care of my parents. They were in debt, and then again, you just grow from there.
Yeah. So after hockey, was there a lull? Was there a
yeah.
fall from grace? Like where did you get back? Because now you're moving and grooving and you're doing your thing, and it seems like you're having a good time. But what was that afterlife like?
Oh God, there's a lot.
You don't have to give me the whole last 15 years.
Kate, I'll tell you,
but,
girl. Listen. When my last year in Albany, I was playing in the minors. I was going through all kinds of weird shit. I have to fight all these guys. I'm not playing in front of 20,000 people anymore. I'm playing in front of 500 people. And the money's not there, and I'm literally fighting guys that I have no idea who they are. I'm 30, they're 21, they're huge. They want a piece of me to get their name out. That was tough. That was really, really tough. Did I save enough money? Hell no. For retirement? Hell no. And I'm like, oh God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And we just kind of figured it out, and I went over to Nottingham, England, and played for a year in England, which was beautiful. It was awesome. Did I make a lot of money there? No. But did we have a good time?
Perks were cool, probably.
The perks, they treated Kate like she was Princess Diana.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It was lovely.
That's awesome.
It was. and I worked my ass off for them. And
that makes you feel good as a dude, like
Yeah.
when your wife's getting taken
take care of her.
Yeah.
It's all good. So that was cool. And then the retirement thing, man, I got invited to do radio with ESPN 101. And I never paid attention to sports. I was only paying attention to myself, to be honest with you. And so I didn't know anything. I went on so right when I retired, ESPN's like, we want to hire you. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, here, go on the fast lane from 2 to 6 with Randy Carricker, DeMarco Farr, and those guys know sports like no other. The past 20 years of my life, I only paid attention to myself. Selfish. I never paid attention to anything else. When I was a kid, I paid attention to Cardinals and Blues and whatnot. But when I'm playing, I didn't give a shit about anything else, what was going on with my day-to-day shit. So they put me on the fast lane for a week and a half. And I was so god-awful. They're literally breaking down college basketball, I don't know what college it was. And they're like, Cam, what do you think? And I'm like, they squeak a lot with their shoes. What's up with that? They're like, what about the drawn up play by this guy? I'm like, no, they squeak a lot. That's what I noticed. I sounded so dumb. And then they didn't hire me. And then Tim McKernan and 590 hired me, and then we kind of got into a different thing. And I had to read and learn and watch different sports and understand different things, not just hockey. And
you have a handle on it now, though, because I've heard you talk about it.
I'll bullshit you.
Well, and Losey hates that I don't know shit because we talk about sports, and I'll be like, great shot. When you came across half court and shot that three-pointer, he's like, blue line? Where the fuck's the three-pointer?
I know how to bullshit.
I don't know anything about hockey.
No offense. A lot of those cats bullshit. Okay?
Yeah.
They don't really.
Oh, I know. I've been in the
They don't
studios.
really have an opinion. They bullshit to entertain.
Or they'll
to
read
have
it.
an opinion, to do this, to do that. I didn't know that at the time, so I was like, I remember Tom Stillman came on, the Blues owner, and I didn't even know how to ask him questions. And they're like, yeah, that was it. That we kind of figured that you couldn't even talk to him. I know, so fucking embarrassing. It's all good. But it all worked out.
But you found your groove.
We found a groove, and now we're good to go.
And you're doing good. And now you're here with me, and I'm so grateful that we're doing our stuff.
This lovely place, man.
Well, we've got a new collaboration we're working on. So you have the Cam and Strick show that you're doing, right?
Podcast, yeah, Cam and Strick podcast.
And then you got your own thing that you're going to be driving here that you're
Conversation
that you're gracious enough
Isn't
to do
that
with
cute,
Punchline
though?
Productions.
Did you think that was cute? Okay, I was.
Did you come up with that, or did he come up with that?
No, I thought you guys did.
Did we?
Was
it part of the spitball?
Where's our boy at? I think they just.
Was it Sam?
We had a bunch of them, and I'm like, that's cute.
It was
I like
Sam.
to be cute.
We're going to give Sam credit for it. Sam came up with conversation.
You got that, baby.
That's you. Yeah,
So
because
anyway-
I wanted lights, camera, action.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the conversation thing's gonna be Thursdays where I want to go to businesses, put a camera on me, let me walk around and be like, check this out. Whatever they want me to pump up, I'll
Eating
do
sandwiches,
it.
driving
Eating
fast
sandwiches,
cars.
I'll take a sandwich oh God, that's good. I'll pump up their stuff.
Yeah.
If it's a car dealership, we'll get in a car, let me drive it around, let me do this, let me do that. We go down to Big Cedar Lodge.
Big Cedar Lodge. It looks good that we're going to be out at Fright Fest 2 now with Six Flags.
Six Flags.
That'd be good.
I want to take our little nieces to Six Flags, put a camera on us. I'll ride every goddamn ride.
Yeah.
I'll eat those fucking turkey legs. Just film me, and I'll just pump up all their stuff.
Yeah.
And then they can have all the content.
You'll be like the new old dance. Like, remember that old dude that we used to be on commercials?
I'll do
like,
whatever.
Who was dancing? Like the
with
old
the bald
dude?
head.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened to him?
I think he died. No, not really. It was a guy in makeup.
Okay.
No,
I'll be the new bald
kitten,
guy.
We can talk about the kitten that's on his deathbed, but
I
I mentioned
look like him
an
anyway.
elderly man passing away in his sleep, and everybody groans about it.
So if you have a business and you want me to come in and really, you guys can just tell me exactly what you want me to do. You want me to pump up that? You want to talk about this? You want to do this? Blah, blah, blah. I'll do it. I'll entertain. And then you can keep the content. You can post it everywhere. But I think that would be pretty fun. Restaurants, trying different food, Six Flags, car dealerships, whatever it is. I think it'd be cool.
I'm excited about it. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. But so the real reason we're here tonight, and thank you all so very much for coming, and Cam was definitely the draw of the evening, and very grateful for him to come out and spend his time with us this evening. But we're here to talk about a charity that we started a year ago, and originally it was gonna benefit, if you wanna roll that beautiful bean footage there, Sammy. So the idea came, I grew up in North County, St. Louis, in a neighborhood called Whitney Chase, and so pretty much polar opposite of Eureka. And when I was there, I grew up with my grandparents, so I didn't really have a father figure. And a lot of the people in that area didn't have a father figure, a lot of my buddies. And my grandparents were like the neighborhood grandparents. And so a lot of my friends spent time over there. And when I got to be in my 30s, I had my first male mentor that I found. And my life really changed by just having a connection with someone that I could look up to and understand success and understand what it meant to be a man and stand on your own 2 feet and do things that sometimes are frowned upon now in society with toxic masculinity. And I don't like the political side of anything. And my view is that a man should be a man, and that's how it is. And you can be whatever you want to be, and that's fine. But there's something to be had. And originally, I was going to take this program to all the Hazelwoods, and I had a discussion with some individuals on their board and their admin teams, and the question arose that, will you allow young women to be in this group, because many of our households are run by young women in this area? And so my answer to that was, well, no, because the reason I'm starting this program is so that these young men in the area can stand on their own 2 feet and become the heads of these households. And that's my idea of how to break a chain, because that would have helped me. And so we started a year ago. We've done 2 food drives. We're going to do another one here. And so what we're here to raise money for this evening and raise some awareness, because we're going to do some other charity events throughout the year. But is that we have some food depravities there in that community that need to be met. We have some students that work incredibly diligently in circumstances that most kids shouldn't have to be in, that still maintain 3.5 and 4.0 grade point averages, that deserve to be recognized for their work. We have scholarship opportunities that are not given in those areas as they were, because the suburban north used to be a powerhouse for sports, and it no longer is. Now it's all these 6A. Now it's all these 6A schools. You know, my son was a CBC guy. They won 2 state championships. Back in the day, you could be at a public school. When I was at Hazelwood East back in 1998, before I came out to Parker North, they were winning championships, or at least you know, within the district. So my goal is to help these young men, and they're the future Spartan leaders. And their head administrator principal is here with us tonight, Corey. Please raise your hand here. So,
what's up, baby?
He's the newest principal at Hazelwood East, and he is just phenomenal at connecting, and he cares, and you can tell it when you walk in. And Ms. Lucido is also administrative over there. Lucido, what is your title? Because I don't know. You just are always there helping. Huh? Associate principal.
She keeps him in check.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, without seriously, she was running the show even last year, but this is Corey's first year. I'm very excited about the things he's going to bring over to that school and that community. And so we try and work within the community and within the school. We do our 2 food drives at the beginning and the end of each year. Our next one's coming up October 20th, I believe, right? And 24th. So I work with an organization called YAPAC Outreach that's pictured here behind me, and they provide us with a month's worth of food for 600 to 800 families. For each of those food drives. Our goal here tonight is also to help the after-school programs. We need about $1,000 a month to do that. because some of these guys and girls go home and don't eat anything. So some of them will bring home food to their siblings and that kind of stuff. So besides food, we provide socks, we provide toys. I think we got some chairs over there last year for the boardroom, and just pretty much anything. My organizational skills are absolutely horrid, and so basically it's on them. They just say, here's what we need, this is what we're in the need of, and can you help? And just point me like a missile, and I go try and achieve it. So I've got some really cool items. Cam's going to help us out and do our auction, and then I'm going to do a quick paddle raise just to see if we can't get some stuff. Mary Ann's going to walk around the room, and she's going to take down your information. So you could either send a check in at a later time, well, like not too later time, like don't send me something and tell me cash it in 25. Like I'm looking to cash this thing in the next week or so, just so you know before you write checks that your body can't cash. And then outside of that, I also have a Venmo that goes directly to the charity, and I'll walk that around afterwards too. So Mary Ann will go around and take your information down. We've got about 6 cool items to do a package, and then I'll do a quick paddle raise. And then please help yourself to some drinks and other things. I'm heading out to watch my son play football this weekend, so I'll be around for a little while longer. I don't know what their agenda is, but I'll be here until about 9 or 10
I'll drink all your beer.
Yeah. We're going to, that hammer of the gods, though, be careful, bro. Is that your first or second?
I don't know. Well, I did a podcast in there.
Second.
With old boy out there.
Okay, yeah. That's why you don't remember. It's the second. That's a big dog beer. So
I'm a big boy.
We're going to start the auction. I'm going to Vanna White our items, and then we have some other things that we don't have physical items for, so I'll get with you and get your information and get those items over to you too. So he's got a list, and we'll get rocking.
Cool.